listen to records, smell the cover, read all the verses. Tell me about your favorites on vinyl and vision.
Hello, welcome to the show. What you are listening to is the first track off of Imperium Droop, the new album by Kid Millions and Jan St. Werner. It is a new collaboration between two extremely talented artists. Today on this show, our very special guest is John Colpitts. John Colpitts is Kid Millions. He is the half of this collaboration, releasing this record on Thrill Jockey Records. The record will be available January 25th, which is right around the corner. If you are tuning in now, there are 3 tracks currently available through all of the streaming services. I'm very honored to have John on the show today to discuss the new album, and that's frankly all that we are doing today. We are not really getting into too much of what our show typically does. But I had an opportunity to speak with him for a brief period of time, so I went with it, and I wanted to present it to you folks in order to bring some attention to the record's release, which is going to be this weekend on the 25th. Vinyl pre-sales are currently being taken through the Bandcamp site. Links will be in the show description, so follow those links. And let's just get right into it. Here at Vinyl and Vision, we ask you please to do all the things you do with the internet. Like, share, subscribe, follow us on all of the social medias, and comment if you will. This time we are asking you please to go purchase the vinyl of this record, Imperium Droop. It is a great, spacey, trippy piece of music. In the show I asked John if he can identify what genre of music this kind of can be, and he can't do it, which is understandable. I think it might fall into the realm of like some kind of jazz. Like, I think that's probably the closest thing that it can kind of be compared to, though that is not still completely accurate. So I hope you enjoy the show. We start off the show with John speaking in regards to the first question I asked him, which was, how did he meet and come to work with Jan St. Werner? Enjoy.
So Bettina put us together, and Rian was doing like a series of East Coast gigs, and reached out to me. And at the time I didn't have a great awareness of embarrassingly of Mouse on Mars and Jan, and I was also like super overworked. I was like really playing a lot and feeling a lot of pressure to like try to make a living playing. And so he asked me to play, and I almost said no, because it was a free gig. But then thank God I wasn't so uptight about it. But so we met up. I set up the show at a space that I'm still at. It was called Secret Project Robot at the time. It's in Bushwick, but it was it's now called Rubulad. But we did a gig at like 1 p.m. on a Thursday or something. Like, no one was gonna make it really, but we left the door open, and a guy did come.
One guy.
He's a really great artist, a performing artist.
Helado Negro.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. Helado Negro. And he came. He was the only person in the audience, and I think he took a couple photos. So there was like, a document of that. And I guess Jan enjoyed it. I think we recorded it even, or he did. And then,
Mm-hmm.
so we just kept in touch. And so ever since, we've played a few shows over the years and done recording sessions and hung out. And we played in Berlin a few times and elsewhere, and a few recording sessions. And Jan we've been building toward this record for quite a while. But anyway, yeah, that was when we met. It was probably 9 or 10 years ago, maybe
Oh,
8.
wow.
Yeah, so it was a while. It's been a
Oh,
while.
okay. Yeah, because I was reading the bio from the Bandcamp page about the album,
Mm.
and I guess it said that you basically started recording this in 2017, or it was recorded in 2017.
Oh, the first, yeah, one session for sure. Yeah, with
Okay.
Andrew Barker. Yeah, yes.
Oh, all right. So this has kind of been a long time coming, or did you do any recording for it recently?
Well, since then, I think I did a few additional things. Like I recorded some additional drums for him.
Hmm.
Maybe the next year or
Okay.
so.
Yeah. So it's been a project that's just kind of been evolving for many years now.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So what's the writing? So what was the writing process like for you both? Because there were other performers on this record as well, right?
Yeah.
I thought it was just the two of you at first.
Yeah, there's a few additional people here and there. So at first it was just like we improvised in the studio. So there's a few approaches. So but mainly it was just we would improvise in the studio, and then Jan would just, he's a master of like cutting and pasting and like experimental audio
Hmm.
tweaking, right? And so he just would massage it and work on it for a long time, and then would send me something and get feedback. But oftentimes, I just was like, it sounds great. But okay, I would definitely contribute some. But and then when we would kind of hit a wall with a tune, like we would maybe discuss, whether a guest could come in and add something useful.
Mm-hmm.
So that was we had Richard Hoffman, who played bass on a track, who was in Sightings. I'm not
Okay.
sure if you remember them from.
No, I can't say that I'm familiar with
Yeah,
it.
they're from they stopped playing, I think, in 2016 maybe.
Hmm.
But always been a big fan of Richard, and I played with him a lot. And he's not really, well, I think he's a great improviser, but he doesn't like to or he doesn't feel as comfortable improvising. So he kind of wrote a part and recorded that, and then Jan would tweak that. So that was kind of the process. I think one kind of cool thing about the album process that I'm not sure is in the liner notes or whatever, but was that Jan we did have a version of the record done in like 2019, and we were sending it around and nobody wanted to release it. During that time, Jan worked with Lee Scratch Perry, the dub
Reggae
producer.
artist, yeah.
And he realized, or what he's like, whoa, okay, I have so many more ideas. Like, let me get at this material again. So he like did a whole redo of the record,
Hmm.
and then we sent it around. And at that point, that was when we got a few people who were psyched, and Bettina at that point was like, yeah, let's do it.
Oh, that's cool.
So it was really, in a way, it really benefited from that long process. I think it was cool. The first version was cool, but I think it became like more radical, after that,
Yeah.
that meeting with Lee Scratch Perry.
Right. How interesting. So yeah, I mean, I think it was funny that you were mentioning earlier how you were kind of either hesitant to work with Jans because you have such a kind of a expansive discography of like kind of collaborations you've been doing. And at the time you said that you were, you know, really busy with doing all this work. Did that have something to do with it? You already kind of like were kind of felt like you were taking on too much and doing too much collaborations with too many people at the time?
No, no, I think it was really me trying to find the balance between doing like getting paid for my time. I mean, I never really figured that out. I think I was maybe more in demand at the time, and although it never got crazy, but like I think I was kind of just thinking, I don't want to just play a free gig,
Mm-hmm.
but it wasn't really the right mindset. That's just where my head was at when I almost turned him down. It would have been a big mistake. I'm glad I did.
Yeah, right.
That was just kind of what was happening. And for so many years, I just played no matter I played anything and everything, no matter what it was, I would go do it. And I had as I when I tried to do this full time, I think I just was like, is that the best, like this is how I make my living. Like,
Mm,
can I do that anymore? Like I should be able to say no to things.
right.
But it's always a balance, you don't know, like I mean, working with Jan was like a huge deal. Like I shouldn't have even doubted. But that
Right.
was kind of where what happened at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes perfect sense because when you're this is a business for you. This is like your livelihood, you know.
Well,
So like making music, I mean everyone sees it as like, oh yeah, it's some fun opportunity to be able to play music with whoever. But yeah, I mean you got to really kind of think about, well, what's the best thing to help my business grow or to help in for you in an artistic endeavor, I guess, right?
yeah, I mean, I think about it differently now.
Mhm.
I probably have come around to a more not trying to connect it with the money as much, but I'm still going to say no to a lot more now than I used to.
Right.
Um,
Time is precious.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
And working on music is very time consuming,
yeah.
right? I mean, just between rehearsals. I mean, how have you guys been able to rehearse to prepare for a record like this, or was it
Oh,
just completely thrown
no,
together?
no, we don't rehearse. No,
It's just
no.
improvisation.
Yeah, but I mean, the way that this is made is like we play right in the same room, and then Jan, manipulates the audio, so it's a whole nother world.
Hmm.
So it's not, he creates the work really. I mean,
Okay.
to give him good credit, it's like, I mean, certainly I'm contributing.
Mm-hmm.
It's half of me, but it's not like the mind behind the wildness is him. I mean, like he thinks about audio in a way that I don't.
Yeah. Okay. Because yeah, the music itself is actually very complicated to me. Like, it's so I mean, Jan is very much he typically is kind of an electronic artist. Is
Yeah,
that fair to say? Electronic, industrial,
yeah. I
avant.
don't know
Uh,
if you would say industrial, but I would say
okay.
yeah, electronic.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah. I've listened to a few of his records, and so I would kind of like putting the pieces together in my own mind between
Yeah.
listening to his work and then listening to your work. You know, some of the Man Forever records and the Kid Millions records.
Yeah.
Um, I was just like, okay, cool. This is like a very interesting meld here, you know,
Yeah.
but I don't know what to call it. Like, do you
Yeah.
have an idea of like what kind of genre this is?
No. No.
Yeah, it's far out, man.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. No, that's fine. I mean, it's completely fair to say because I think that it's very complex. Like, it's very interesting in that regard of like people typically try to pigeonhole things. They try to label things and so that they can kind of feel more comfortable with it themselves.
Yeah, sure.
Um, so now considering on this show, I usually speak about influential albums and people that are influenced by things. What were you listening to as inspiration?
Oh wow. Okay. Well, I'm looking at the CD here. Okay.
Oh, you got a CD already?
Yeah, there's a CD. There's CDs as well.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
she pressed up a few. I see. What was I listening to? It's funny. I don't really work that way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and I know I don't. I don't know if Well, I won't put any judgment on it. It's just the way I operate. I don't like. The only time when I really was like explicitly using recordings as inspiration, it would be like I would listen to, John French, the drummer, Drumbo from the
Oh,
Magic Band,
right, right.
and I would just listen to his playing, and somehow I thought, like, if I listened to his playing, and then I went into the studio, I would play uh, more like fluently and just a little bit with more of a dynamic control and
Hmm.
stuff. Um, but I don't. Yeah, I don't really listen. I don't have that relationship to music.
Yeah. Well, tell me about a couple of the things that just interest you in general as far as music is concerned, like even today.
Hmm. Well, I mean, I listen to like the Coltrane, uh, like Elvin Jones. You know,
Hmm.
I'm playing. I'm trying to learn the way that he plays a waltz
Hmm.
nowadays is kind of my what I'm focusing on right now. Uh,
Okay.
I'm thinking about ways of um, using my four limbs, like coordinating
Yeah.
differently. Um, Trying to expand like my awareness of time, meaning like I don't mean like subdividing a beat and the different subdivisions and how those feel and sound, and
Hmm.
I guess that's the kind of thing I listen for. But it's so weird. I used to be real direct. Oh, this album is inspired by this album,
Hmm.
but I
Yeah.
don't really think of it like that anymore.
Right, right. I mean, I think that
I mean,
there's
whatever. Like, it's not even me being like I'm beyond that. I'm not.
no, no. I'm sure you're not. I mean, the thing is, I was just about to say that I think it's a subconscious thing, because I remember when I used to try to write music. There was actually a long period. There was many years where I said I'm not going to buy any more music.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because I was just like, I've already been tainted, my mind. So if I want to make pure music, then maybe I need to stop listening to music.
Hmm.
And that way I can just kind of like freely create whatever and not feel, any kind of like hindrance or boundaries by anything. Or
Mm-hmm.
not feel like, oh, I did something subconsciously that was actually mirroring something that I really liked, you
Uh-huh.
know?
The
So, I mean,
anxiety of influence.
right, right. I mean, because like it's unavoidable, really, and that's why I find it interesting to talk about influences in general with an artist because it's kind of just crazy to get into that brain, and find out, well, hey, what makes you tick? What made you want to play music and stuff like that?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm.
and so and speaking of which, like, so what inspired you to play drums?
um, I think it was just people at my high school. There weren't many drummers, and I had a good friend who was a drummer, and so I just thought, oh, maybe I can do this too. There's people, and I think there were people who were like yeah, like I would play in a band with you. So, I just like, I knew I could just start and hit the ground running.
Hmm.
So I just like, I think you know, and there was a drum set at school. And so I just was like, I can do this. Somebody showed me a couple things and I just started playing.
Mm-hmm.
With people. We were learning, yeah, learning like Dire Straits, Sultans of Swing, and then Guns N' Roses, and um, yeah, probably a couple of Dead tunes in there, that kind of a thing. 60s,
Mm-hmm.
60s stuff,
Yeah.
70s.
Jam music, kind of.
Yeah,
That's cool.
well, it is what it is.
Well, yeah. I mean, hey, it all helped shape, your style.
For sure.
That's the beautiful part about, kind of figuring these things out or hearing about these things is that like sometimes it makes a lot more sense. Sometimes it clicks.
Yeah,
Like you say Grateful Dead, I'm just like, oh, well, that kind of makes sense in regards to like the idea of jamming on things and kind of like feeling things out, letting things go for a while and just
right.
explore where this sound and this space takes you.
For sure.
So that's great, man. That's cool. That's hey, man. That's why I talk to you people. That's why I love doing this.
Nice.
So back to the record Imperium Droop. It's going to be available June 25th in its entirety. There are 3 tracks currently available, basically wherever you can get music, and you can stream those 3 songs and kind of explore the music and get a taste of it. Looks like you got some really cool limited edition purple marbled vinyl coming for this release.
Yeah, it's not yeah, it's a little bit muted. I don't know
Yeah.
if it's really marbled. I'm not sure.
Oh, okay. Have
But
you
yeah,
seen it?
it's purple. I
Yeah.
have it. Yeah, I got it. It's great. It's awesome.
Oh,
It looks
nice.
great.
And so that leads me to ask what is your relationship with vinyl records today?
I mean, I have a lot of them, and I've been seeing little notions online, people saying like, there's a bubble. And
Mm-hmm.
actually, vinyl is a real pain in the ass. It is really hard to get to sound good. And oftentimes, at my level, which is low, no one is willing to like actually make it sound good. You really have one shot. You get a test pressing, and if there's something wrong, you have to live with it.
Mm.
In this case, it went great. It worked out.
Mm-hmm.
But I've had experiences where I like the record was mastered improperly, and or it was cut improperly, and the
Oh.
tune was distorted, and the label just was like, okay, well, if we go back and fix it, then uh, you know we're not going to release the record or something. Like, it's just like, it's all kind of a nightmare.
Mm.
I don't think vinyl is cool. I
Yeah.
don't think it's uncool.
From a production standpoint, from like being
Yeah, and
having to
it's
put it
not.
out.
Yeah, but it's nothing special with sound. I know people have the thing of with it, and maybe like
Mm.
a certain era where it was the dominant form of distribution, and the most expensive records and productions were getting that attention.
Right.
Yeah, those records sound great, but I don't necessarily feel the same way about what's going on now. But people are into it. I mean, I'm happy for people to be psyched
Yeah. Right.
about it.
Well, I can agree with you because I think that a lot of the enjoyment behind listening to vinyl records, I think, comes from your own setup at home.
Yeah,
Like if you're just listening on a Crossley, portable thing with the built-in speakers, it's gonna sound like shit. You're
right.
you have to invest into the whole system, and there are anywhere from the few $100s range of investment to the multiple thousands of dollars range, and it just I think it depends on just how invested do you want to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm super psyched. I mean, I'm gonna get mine as soon as I can muster some money together, and I'll do my pre-order. And because I really love it. I mean, I think it looks great. Obviously, I already know the music, and so I'm just excited to kind of like put it into my collection and kind of like have it.
Dude, that's very kind. I'm sure we can get Thrill Jockey to send you a copy.
Well, I am not imposing. I just that would be more than appreciated. But I also have to ask. I think it seems that the pandemic is nearing an end,
Hmm.
and people are starting to gig again. So, what are your plans for the official release of this album, and possibly even gigging with Jan?
Yeah, there's no plans like explicitly um, for us to play. We've gotten no offers,
Yeah.
so we may, but it's not like there's maybe a little bit of like nibble about like a few festivals next year.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I'm not. Yeah, no plans. Yeah.
Okay. And I mean, I think it would be remiss for me to not ask while I have you. I mean, what about touring in general? Well, either Man Forever or Oneida or
Hmm.
even your solo work.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. I mean, I do have an album that I'm finishing of my own stuff. I'm really not sure how to make it work financially anymore.
Touring?
Yeah,
Okay.
because like it took me like 8 or 9 months to book my last Man Forever tour that like made money because I had to do it really carefully and do like, paid gigs.
Mm-hmm.
You can't, I mean, I can't do a tour like that of door gigs and with my band. I have to pay people. I need to get paid. I can't just go out and do it. So I'm not sure it's viable. We'll
Hmm.
see.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Have you broken into the college market at all?
I played some college gigs, but I don't know. I don't think they listen to this kind of thing right
Doesn't
now.
matter. They pay.
Well, you have to feel, yeah, but they don't. I don't know. Usually they like somebody needs to like it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I imagine the last time I've ever dealt with something like that was, just kind of speaking to someone that was working at the college director, like a director of entertainment or something like that. And they just have a budget that they need to spend.
Yeah,
It's
for sure.
ridiculous.
Yeah, yeah. Well, if you have any connections, I'm happy to hear.
It's been a long time for me since I've had to try to book anything, so I don't think my contacts would be valid.
Right on.
But yeah, I think it's definitely a possibility. It's something I've always been interested in. It was just like you should just go on a college tour, just play colleges.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's hard because the the students change every year or two. Who's running those organizations who might
Hmm.
have money to spend. So it's hard to kind of establish something, and get
Right,
paid and whatever. It's not easy.
right. Okay. Well, and how about Oneida? Anything from them?
Yeah, we're working on an album, and I imagine when it's done, we would tour, but that would look like pretty limited. You probably have a week or 10 days to tour
Yeah.
next year, if at all. I don't know. Yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
I'm not like really feeling super bullish about touring.
Right. Is it also, I mean, does the pandemic have some effect on that hesitation, or is it just strictly the whole burden of like booking and, trying to devise the finances?
A little bit with the pandemic, but it was more just like realizing like the kind of gigs, like if we have a record to kind of like tell people about, like it makes sense
Mm-hmm.
in a way. although I think I've just been doing it for so long. It's, there's really no surprises touring with the shows. It would be like you kind of know what kind of show it's gonna be. I don't mean the music and the performances, or like that's awesome, and seeing friends is great. I just know it's just like it's not a comfortable thing to do, and I've been doing it for 25 years, so it's got to be I think it needs to be kind of a different kind of scenario for me, maybe, than playing bars. But maybe that's the only thing I can play. Maybe nobody would want another kind of context. And if so, I don't know. Well, I have to like kind of think about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds fine. I mean, either way, I wish you the best. I'm very excited for this record to come out. Very excited for you and Jan, and whatever you guys plan on doing, I'm sure it'll be great. And I hope I can see you sometime in the future in the real world.
Yeah, man. Thanks, James. I mean, thanks for taking the time. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the kind words.
Oh, not a problem, man. Thank you. I appreciate everything that you do, and I appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks.
Sounds good, man. Do you think we covered everything, or is there anything that we should know?
No. I think you got it. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks
Great.
so much, James.
Thank you, John. It's
All
been a
right.
pleasure.
Same. All right, man. I'll see you very soon.
Final Envision is a Psychic Static production. Theme song written and performed by Jeff Robbins of 123 Astronaut.